we got a question for number one. My spawn of interest, okay, very selective with the words here. My spawn of interest and studying is really big in everything beside my primary study, which is accounting. I really struggle finishing it, and it almost takes twice as many years for me. Any advice? So I guess that question is direct as it is. A one is asking that I'm interested in everything else but accounting. I guess this question kind of answers itself. Does anybody want to answer this about what maybe you should do with something that you're struggling to finish for a long time, but everything else is can you get done pretty easy?
Oh, this, all right, top speed family. This song gonna ping in first. The one energy, trailblazer. You can start anything, and you got this. You get the idea, you run with it because you got the juice like that. And with that straightforward mentality, it tends to like you light the fire, you going, you got your thrusters going, but sometimes you forget the come back around. You see the full picture because you move so fast. And like we just came from the eight got that slow, and you're gonna see the whole rotation if you take your time and the wisdom. So that's one of those things you want to employ within yourself. Tap into that slow down energy. Breathe is a major component in this, and allowing yourself to sit within the breath, because the breath, takes us straight to the center. That's the pathway. So if you ever get confused of where you're going, slow down, take a bit, write down where you want to go, how you want to manifest, what you want to manifest exactly, what is the end goal. And by you doing just that, allows you to, turn it down just a notch for you to see another part, another facet of the goal or the projection that you're building. And being that then you're so fast moving, you got to do this constantly, consistently. Remind yourself every day. Like we just came off of a 23-day meditation, which gave me, again, as a one destiny number, more time to just sit, breathe consistently, and develop that habit, because this is what you want to develop within yourself, to be able to slow down. You can finish, and you're going to finish strong, but you got to know where to slow down and employ other facets of yourself. And because tapping to the crystals, one of the crystals that help you dial into that space too is yellow crystal, really. And I'm gonna bounce it to another one of my one of the Keymakers, because it's definitely a good one. Always.
And basically also for number ones, their power source is the sun. So really to use sun gazing as that will just energize you so much, and wake up at sunrise. The best time to do the sun gazing is an hour after sunrise, and you gradually build this up. You can do it for a minute for 1 week, 2 minutes the following week, 3 minutes, and you build it up, build it up, build it up. So over a period of years, you can go on to a whole hour of sun gazing. And the pishti powder for sun, which is the gem powder, is the pearl powder. To have that pearl powder before you go to bed, half a teaspoon mixed with honey, with a glass of warm water, and that will help to calm you throughout the night as you recollect yourself in the dream world. So wholeness.
My son is a son, so he's done a one, and I find shyness. He's very shy, which is it's funny because it's sort of the opposite of like the sun shines, and so what happens, even though he's shy, everyone else sees him and always compliments, and overly so he gets drawn in. And so what I can see develop is that by the time he starts to get into his teenage years, that's going to get into his head, and then the word for number one becomes too. You're too this, too that, too bright. He's gonna outshine, and always shining, and always showing off, and always. So the thing to be mindful with the number one is that because you're a natural shine and you shine all the time, you can you tend to overdo everything, and so in that sense, just balance that these aspects of yourself, and not be too ambitious, too sensitive, too anything. so you can, control your energy. That's what I would say about number one.
Also, let's be also very clear with these questions because it's important, because there's so many details to each path. It's speaking specifically to the question as a number one. If you're doing something, this was mentioned inside the studio, that is related to accounting, because that was your specific question. You're struggling with this primary study of accounting. When you think about a path number one, being a leader and working with, systems and actually leading people, numbers is actually the total opposite, really, of that kind of work. And that's what was mentioned here, which is very valid, because when you think about it, it's like, you're sitting there dealing with lots of repetition, checking things over and over again. Wow, this is an energy that really wants to, to basically really shine its light and actually express itself in a certain way. So this is 100% why, like we've talked about inside of ambassador training, what are the specific like jobs that certain paths excel at? And we had an exercise where what we did was, especially in the time that we're in right now, we looked at that list of different positions that each path would be good at, and we removed everything as an exercise. Each person removed everything from their path that they felt that couldn't even be done right now because of conditions that we're in. And then what remained there, they looked and chose what they feel like that they would really like to get into, because it not only harmonized with their path, it's something that also enlightens them to say, okay, this is going to be new for me, because, and this is going to be something I want to do. Because if you go back into something that you really don't want to do, that doesn't get you anywhere. So even as a number one, when you say, well, there's other things, because a one could be good at anything, and that's why there's all these other different things that you're also engaged in. Having the ability to make that so focused like a beam and say, although this is what I specifically want to do, because I'm seeing, of course, as a human being, it becomes very difficult for you to even read and listen to something at the same time. Any human being, like 95% of the human beings, cannot listen to TV and read at the same time at full comprehension. So this says that there is a limit to the way, no matter how, multifaceted or whatever a person believes that they are, there is a limit to how they should be taking in information that is of a high priority. That's why you can't listen to something and look at something at the same time and comprehend them both, or read something and look at something at the same time, because both of those faculties need almost 80% of your attention to be able to function properly. So putting the intention into making sure that you're doing something that is really going to take you to the next stage. But I also have a feeling that by the way that the question was asked, you knew that. And what's happening is that it's possibly the accounting that's paying the bills. And this could be an entirely different question, but obviously we don't do something that we really struggle at doing unless somehow we either one feel so dedicated to it because the people that we're aligned with and we promise them or something like that, or that it is the only thing that we can actually find that we can make a living off of. And so the steps here are, since you're already aware that this is not something that you really want to be involved with, no one really likes to struggle, that you now have to put that investment and put that in time into actually figuring out of all the other things, how can you make your way in those things, in that one thing, and be sure with your uniqueness. I also, again, because the question is again answering itself. So just be encouraged to, of course, take all the advice here, but realize that you have to make that ultimate choice to move yourself out of a space that you don't want to be in. The next question, or you don't feel is going to have the right kind of future that you're looking into.
Brother, could I jump in and just say,
sure,
for the one path as a destiny one, like moving forward, whatever you choose to do, it helps because your expansive energy is everywhere, right? Like give yourself a time limit. Go, I'm going to do, if it's accounting and you're nearly done through your accounting, and you can do, if you say I'm just going to commit to it for 2 months, at the end of 2 months, see what happens. But moving forward, whatever you choose to do, give yourself like a finite amount of time to put all of your energy into it and see what the fruit that bears, and then reassess, rather than just kind of here and there. And so time is your friend in terms of sticking to a timeline.